Welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast. I'm Blue, dabba-dee, dabba-die, dabba-dee, dabba-die, dabba-dee, dabba-die. Welcome back, everybody, to the WoodsTalk podcast with special guest Aaron of House Butler. Namaste. How's it going, bae?
Namaste. What a way to kick off the podcast of the Eiffel 65. And by the way, very accurate as well, because with the light filters you have going on, you do look quite blue.
I do. It's you know what I mean. I want it to look cold. I don't like to look warm. You know what I mean. He wants to look warm, mate.
I like lukewarm. I think I have the biggest pet peeve with your video out of anyone. Like, I have a real OCD with your video because I feel like it shouldn't look like that.
Probably shouldn't. No, I think I actually have been messing about with it, but I think, you know, just having a small space means I can't really get the lights and stuff much further away from me. So I think it's better to have some light on me than none at all, if that makes sense. But I wish like I could it's just mostly in this room's like a double bed. So and no matter what way you kind of move it, it doesn't really change the setup dramatically. But sure, no one else has complained. It's just you. So
it's just me. It's just me. Let's make that very clear. Like, no, everyone else is perfect with it. I have massive issues with it. Is your light not dimmable? No,
but I must actually invest in maybe one or seven, because I have like the two big, is it softbox? Is that what they're called? Softboxers? Softbox.
Yep, that's the one.
So I think they're obviously very good, but obviously I need a bit more sort of dimmable and color sort of vibes. But sure, I'll get that. I've got Amazon vouchers coming out my arsehole, so we're decent.
Oh, right. Why have you got have you accumulated? Are they from Christmas or?
I've just accumulated them. I got one from work, basically, for instead of money.
Employee of the month.
Yeah. Just go, cheers for working from home. So here's 15. 15. You know what I mean? I'd took a Just Eat voucher quicker. If you're going to give me £15,
oh yeah,
Just Eat would be a lot. Deliveroo, I don't even know if you can get vouchers for delivery, but I think that would go a lot further than what's 15 quid going to get you on Amazon, apart from like key rings, He-Man key rings.
Yeah. Rick and Morty pogs.
Pokedex.
What was I going to say? I'll send you like a link to a light that maybe help you out. How about that?
For sure, that'd be much appreciated, and I appreciate you.
There we go.
I appreciate you as well going for a later start, because obviously I got in contact with you to come back on the podcast, and I initially suggested 5 o'clock today, but you give me my favorite response you've ever given to me ever, which was that's your dinner time. So it was not feasible at that time, because Butler's got a routine, and god damn it, he's going to fucking stick to it.
Routine. Look, this is how they do it in the military. You know what I mean? That's what makes real solid good men, is routine, discipline, all that bullshit. So yeah, I have now. Look, is it also because my mum decides to make dinner at that time, and that's why I have it? Yeah, it is. Okay, because I still live at home and I'm 32. Next month I'm 32. Next month. But so that's why I have it. I had. I know you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I had slow cooked pulled chicken. Very nice.
Very nice.
With a baked potato. Good mix of protein. Good mix of carbs in there.
Was there any vegetables at all?
There was like a vegetable medley in the chicken in
the
slow cooker, and
carrots.
That was sort of the veggie part of it. Yeah. There was one onion. And, so yeah, that's what we're working with here. By the way, I know we're just jumping about a little bit here. Have you commented yet on the Jerry Adams Easter egg stuff?
Not as yet. No, I haven't had a proper look at it, to be honest. I'm flat out.
Wow. Oh, if there's one guy who would definitely enjoy it, it's the originator of one of my favorite jokes, the Jerry Adams cookbook joke.
Yeah, I must have a Jeffrey at it, because a few people DM me and still going, this could be something that you would like to see, and I'm worried now that it's going to be overhyped. So by the time I get round to actually looking into it, it's not like I keep picturing an actual Easter egg with like a beard and glasses on it, to be honest.
I mean, that would be better, but instead, it's a bit more tragic. It's it's Jerry Adams looking like he's being held captive. By the way, he's got like a scarf around his neck. It looks like he's hiding something. I don't know, but he's basically he's like an influencer marketer where he's like, guys, you gotta get these, you gotta get these 1916 Easter eggs, like Easter eggs, and this is serious. Like he's just like he's gotta buy them. They're money's going to good places and stuff like that. Don't know what that means, but either way, he's like, don't worry, I've got a good manufacturer. We got them produced by Free Dairy Milk. Just a lot of
Yeah.
lot of good things. So yeah, I thought you'd enjoy it anyway.
Yeah. I take it they're not called like Jerry Adams Easter eggs, no? Do you know what I mean? There's not scrambled eggs, no?
They're not. No, they're not. Although you should get in touch with him and get, because he seems to be really into his mom. I just want to know what's next for him. Is it going to be like? Is he going to get into like hair product, makeup? Is he going to be selling like weight loss programs? Like I think there's a big. I think he can do a lot with his brand. He can do a lot with his brand. And
Yeah.
I think I think someone needs to reach out. Maybe we need to reach out as a team and just lead the charge. You know what I mean? Jerry, you've got like, real popular face, good audience built behind you. Let's milk this puppy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder what like where can you really go for Jerry? I mean, he's got an endless amount of branding opportunities. Like he should have a fragrance by now. The fact he doesn't have a fragrance is ridiculous. He should have a fragrance. Callum Best has a fucking fragrance. Jerry Adams should definitely have one.
Yeah, Eau Dura.
Decommission for men.
It sprays you and knocks you out. It's actually not deodorant, it's just tear gas.
It's leftover mustard gas from the cookbook. There you go. He really is. Fair play to Jerry Adams. I mean, of anybody of that era during all that vibe, he's got like a podcast. He's got he keeps up with the times. He keeps up with the trends. I'm sure he's got a MacBook. He's got a fucking Fitbit. He's got a fucking smart card. And I think he seems very gadget savvy.
Yeah, I mean, so would you be if you avoided jail.
He can activate bombs. He can activate bombs now by a Bluetooth. You know what I mean? Just happens.
Yeah. I mean, he's not in jail. He's still alive. Like for someone his age and his era, he's did better than probably 99% of all his colleagues.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like I don't know anybody of that age who has a podcast. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Who's the oldest guy that has a podcast? Let's think. Would it be Jerry? Who's an old fuck that has a podcast?
There's probably like an old school comedian or something that's like not particularly well known here, but I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, like
well, Adams is in his 60s, isn't he?
I'd say so. He looks all right for that age too. I don't think he's aged badly.
He's still got hair, which is like for his age again. Big deal for him. Not doing bad. His wife used to work at the bakery at the top of my street and served me sausage rolls when I was 10.
Right. And then what happened when you were 9 or 11? They were just like, nah, not anymore. It's only when you're 10.
Yeah, you've reached the upper age limit for sausage roll baps. You've got to move on. You've got to move on to a better diet requirement.
Yeah.
No, she left the bakery. God bless her soul. Don't know what she's doing now, but I just want to give her a shout out if she does listen. If she's a Patreon subscriber, that I really enjoyed the sausage rolls that she served me, and I'll have fond memories of them for years to come. That's my best memories of Jerry Adams. He also used to come in, because I like grew up in West Belfast and stuff. He would like regularly give talks in our school, like maybe once a year. He would just do the rounds, like, and a few different schools would get together, and like I had no idea what was going on. Looking back on it, it's probably a small form of like indoctrination. It's kind of like Nazi youth of West Belfast, only for Sinn Féin. And he would just be like, he'd just come in. His speeches were nothing memorable, but like he would tell like a good few jokes and stuff, and everyone would get a real kick out of it. And then you'd get a bunch of like young lads like taking the piss out and stuff, and he would just love the banter.
Yeah. Would you open for Jerry Adams?
Hardly. He'd open for me.
Imagine he took your stuff. Check on balls for Sheila. You'd be like, you dirty BG bastard.
That's the name of his wife as well.
Is it?
The
Is it
beef
balls?
sausage rolls, sausage rolls for Sheila. The no,
Sheila sausage
it's
rolls?
actually it's it's actually not, but she does look like a Sheila, a lovely
Hmm.
lady. But she does look like she'd be called Sheila. Don't know why, but but no, he'd Jerry Adams would probably kill if he opened for you, literally.
Yeah.
The-
There's bombs planted around here. I'm not telling you where they are unless you laugh at this anecdote about how Greg's is the best sausage roll. You know what I mean?
every punchline could be considered one of the fucking bomb safety words, or what's their bomb scare words? Is that what they call bomb scare phrases?
Bomb scares, yeah. Bomb scares is
What are
like
they?
you see like bomb scares in American news coverage and everybody's panicking, and here you're just it's more like an inconvenience. You're like, fuck another one. Do you know what I mean? Nobody gives a shit.
It really is, isn't it? It's so strange how it is. We're just so numb to it here. Like it's like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, a bomb scare got phoned in Newry, and you're like, all right. And it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, everyone just went home, and
Yeah.
that's all. That's all the story ever is. Nothing. I mean, I suppose that's a good thing. I don't. The alternative would be, yeah, a bomb scare was called in, and loads of people died.
Yeah. But it's Newry, so
Look, say what you will about Newry, big fan of Friar Tucks. Okay, they've got check it. Like, here's the thing: get rid of all the people from Newry. I don't really care about. You know what I mean? Get rid of all. But keep Friar Tucks.
oh
Keep
for
the
sure.
chicken gravy. Keep the chicken burger with that mayo that I'm pretty sure has cocaine in it, because there's no way people in Newry aren't putting cocaine in their mayo, because it's that good.
Yeah. I think that Friar Tuck seems to be one of those places that if you're from somewhere that has one, you get very territorial about the whole thing. Because I know a few people from Banbridge, and when you say that, oh, there's a Friar Tuck's in Newry as well, they're like, get the fuck, we don't care because the Banbridge Friar Tuck's is far superior. And you're like, I'm pretty sure it's the same chicken that they're killing and just splitting.
Yeah, pretty sure they're not changing recipe for 2 miles down the road to fucking. There's not some, you know what I mean? It's not like Nando's in India where they're like, oh, we can fucking like
Yeah,
it's the same stuff. But don't you find that Northern Ireland has that thing where we get so territorial about such trivial things? And like I'm looking for a house at the minute,
mm.
and as I'm going out to houses, there's areas I'm going into, and there's like they have so many flags outside their door. And this is, from, I'm not trying to pinpoint any sort of part of the, like, Protestants, Catholics, whatever. It's from both sides.
Yeah,
But you're looking going, what joy are you getting? Or what way does that improve your livelihood by
yeah,
having a little bit of material hanging out your window? You know what I mean? Like, why do you let that affect you in such a way that if it wasn't there, it would
yeah,
make you, like, it would affect your anger and your personal, like,
yeah.
such a strange thing. I find it.
Well, yeah, it's obviously a big part of what they consider their identity, and they have
Yeah.
flags outside. But it's the equivalent of you having a Power Rangers flag outside your bedroom window. Now, I've heard you do have one, but that's different.
Whoa, look, now that's real. Okay, that does affect your mental health if you don't have a Power Ranger flag outside your. God help the neighbors I get. They're in for a real treat.
Oh, for sure, the red, white, and blue Ranger, the class.
Yeah, they look at the front yard and there's just an alpaca looking at them. But it's dressed, but it's dressed like Prince.
Your dress is alpha, having a wank in the garden, just loving life.
Ay ay
Ay, ay,
ay.
ay. Oh man.
But yeah, are you, you're moving out at some point soon? Are you planning to get a house, right?
Yeah, we'll most likely be renting, but yeah, so we're out of here in
Oh
July of
really?
this year. Yeah, so at the minute, we've been looking at wee rental properties, but there's nowhere online, that's available in July. The soonest, sort of the latest property you would get would be like May at the minute if you were looking somewhere in May. So it's kind of annoying that it'll probably be like mid to end May that we'll have places that are even plausible to move into. So it doesn't give you a great time frame instead of like, you don't get a lot of time to shop around because, I assume it's the same for looking for houses to buy. There's not a wild lot that you would comfortably go, I'll fire money at this. Do you know what I mean? Like even buying, me and Lisa have had like a couple of evenings here and there where you just look for the crack. And you're like, would you go through the rigmarole and all the admin bollocks for that? Do you know what I mean? There's been very few where you're like, that would be worth the effort. I don't know if you found the same.
Yeah, it's such a process of, like, and I know this probably isn't the most thrilling talk for your listeners hearing about us buying houses, but it's
People need
like,
to learn all this shit. We spoke about this. There needs to be There should have been classes in secondary school about credit rating, savings, mortgages, bleeding radiators, putting up curtains, cleaning ovens.
Yep. Yeah, we did. I think we did. We were doing the photo shoot for you, which
Mm.
was very enjoyable.
Oh yeah,
The we were oh man, I laughed so much at that day. Like
yeah.
just to go off topic, I'm sure you've probably already talked about it in
I
the
did. I
podcast,
did.
but but let's hear my perspective because it's enjoyable too.
Go for it.
When we we were taking photos for your new show, which is coming next year. Very excited for it. I'll be supporting. It'll be good crack. The we were in the middle of the woodlands of good old Hollywood, and we were joking about sort of walking, looking for places to take photos for your poster, and we were sort of I was joking around saying, "Oh, Flip, you don't want to fall here and stuff, you know, flipping, you know." But we were only joking, and about a minute later, you had you had what could only be described as the messiest and also most slowest collapse I've seen in a fall. Like you were like when they in the in the King Kong movie when they shoot King Kong and they make it look like he's like hovering in the air for a minute, or it's like it's going all slow and stuff. That was like you can and to be fair, you went that slow. I probably could have just put my hand out and you would have been okay.
Yeah, it would have
But I was
steadied.
yeah, but I was I was laughing that much at the idea of where it was going that
Yeah,
I had to let nature take its course,
yeah.
and you had you had a lot you felt like a 60-year-old. You felt like you felt like how I imagine a dad to fall.
Oh
Like
yeah, for
you know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Just the mobility of your falls, like you didn't fall like a normal guy would,
definitely not.
and you were covered in muck, but it was good crack anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I remember when it happened, you know, it sort of slow, like obviously it was quite a slow fall anyway. But I remember at one point thinking, going, I don't know what way I'm going to land. Do you know the way sometimes when you're falling, you're like, I'm going to, you know what I mean? My knees will hit the ground first or something, or I'm going to land on my stomach.
Yeah,
I might land on my
yeah.
back, might land on my side. I was like, it was like a fucking roulette. I was like, I could end up Kama Sutra fucking landing here where I'm just like, I don't know, where my legs behind my neck and like one of my shoes is on my arm and just be like, honestly, I was like, I don't know how this is going to, the finale, I don't know how it was going to go.
Yeah, I was feeling the same way because I was like, we were on a sloping hill, so I was like, Flip,
Mm.
he's either going to land really safely, or he's going to be the next Stephen Hawking. You
Oh
know,
yeah, for
that's where
sure.
I was going. You know, we were going to have to roll you out of the park,
Yeah.
and
My show would
we
definitely
did.
sell out then though. You
Oh,
know what I
could you
mean?
imagine the poster? I
Oh,
would have
for
still took
sure.
the photos.
Yeah. Just the matrix behind me. So
Just photoshopped you, so it would have been all good. But yeah,
yeah, it was good
you
crack.
ended up landing on your arse, which I think is maybe the best part you could have landed on. Good heavy meat there, you know what I mean?
I'm renowned for having a butcher's howl, as they would say. Do you know what
Good,
I
good,
mean?
good rumpus. I think the ground took more damage than your actual hole did.
Oh, for sure. If you go there now and go to the spot, it looks like you know that a
Oh,
comet landed there. Oh, do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. They call it Giant's Ring now.
Oh, for sure. Imagine if that had been McCann, it would have been a fucking.
Oh fuck!
It'd have been
If it
away.
was McCann, if it was McCann, he would have landed in China.
Yeah, and and his
He would
head
have
would have
went
landed
straight
in
through.
fucking. His head would be in Cuba. Oh man! But see, to be
uh,
fair, that was the best thing that could have happened because then I wasn't worried about falling. Whereas I was so aware of it
mm,
and I was in my own head. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now it's
yeah.
happened, so I'm like, fuck it, it's done now, and I'm claiming, and it's a lawsuit that will happen. But you know, I'm just waiting to see if there's any of those lawyers that have billboards outside Chicken Licking, and I'm like, I'm gonna get that guy. Do you know what I mean?
Chicken licking. The what a fucking chicken licking stinking. I've never ate out of it, but I wouldn't say it's ideal. And do you know what? And also the funniest part about the fact that you landed on your arse in the park that day is that when it came to the final poster, we didn't even use the background of where we were that day. So we could have just took it.
I
We could have
couldn't
took it in
avoid
a
it.
car park. We
Yeah,
took the photo in a car park because we superimposed you into a forest anyway.
I know.
So we really, and that's maybe the funniest part of it all is that it didn't need to happen, but it happens.
Oh,
Good
for
fun.
sure. It was good crack just to sort of get out and things. And that's one thing I was going to ask you. You know that we don't have any dates here about coming out of lockdown. And
Hmm.
side note, it fucks me off that everybody here thinks that the UK dates are applicable here, where they're like, is it like
Mm.
26th of June or July or something? They're like, gonna be in the fucking beer garden and all. And that's not really the case here. So good luck to them when that day arrives and nothing's going to happen. But everybody seems to be very much like, can't wait to be able to go drinking again with all my mates and blah, 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 blah. But as someone who doesn't drink, and outside of obviously you're looking to do gigs, what are you 100% doing as soon as all the restrictions are lifted and you can do shit again? I know stand-up's an obvious thing, but as a man who doesn't drink, what's your vibe?
I mean, the big one is just getting back to Disney World. You know, we gotta get and I want to start that campaign. That I'm going to start a Kickstarter page. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. GoFundMe. We're going to start a GoFundMe page. Get the Butler back to Disney World. You know what I mean? I know Cinderella's over there. All the other Disney princesses over there. I'm still single, looking to sort of. I'm trying to get on 90 Day Fiance. So I think I think I can go over there, find whoever Cinderella is, and I think that would make great viewing. You know what I mean? Like, me just sort of trying to get a green card over there, trying to live and work. She's going out to work during the day, but I'm sitting at home in my boxers playing like PlayStation stuff. She's all like, you never pull your weight around here, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, I can't even work on all because I haven't got my green card. You know what I mean? I think it would be really enjoyable to watch. So that's one thing. And just, you know what, holidaying in general is a big one. I love water parks, and I really want to get back to a water park.
Yeah, but I have this image now of you going to Disneyland to find your Disney princess, and just an image of you fucking Olaf. You know what I mean? Because you've struck out. It's getting stuck in.
Yeah, it's frozen. All right, fucking let it go.
Let it go, would you? Fuck's sake. Oh my god. Yeah, like water parks. I mean, is there a water park at Disney World?
Oh, there is 2 water parks at Disney World, my friend.
Jesus. How big is it? Like, how big is it?
Huge. So Disney World is basically like, I'm trying to like compare the size of it, like in terms of Northern Ireland. It's like bigger than Belfast. Because I'm trying to remember how many miles wide and stuff it is. It's probably like 10 miles, like all round, like as a square foot type thing. Like it is huge. It's like its own city, so they have their own infrastructure. It's basically they have their own like policing and stuff like that. Like it's they have their own like colored street signs, so it's different from all of America. Like crazy stuff. If you ever research the background of it, very very interesting. There's a lot of good documentaries on it, but basically it's huge and it has 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, like 18 resorts, like different like golf courses, like you name it. They have the ESPN Wide World of Sports there. So when lockdown happened, all the basketball in America moved to Disney World and played all the games and lived in a bubble in Disney World, had all the food and stuff provided. Like it is just insanely big. And then outside of Disney World, about 12 miles up the road from it is Universal Studios, and Universal Studios has 2 theme parks. It has 1 water park. It's building a 3rd theme park for 2 years' time. Like, if you're like someone that likes that sort of stuff, like I do, I'm basically a big fucking kid. Like, it is a dream to go to.
Yeah. Fuck, I didn't know half of that. I mean, like, the only thing I really know about Disney World is, because I was reading something, their chicken licking is incredible, apparently. It's good. Their Maggie Mays is lovely. Yeah. That's where it kicked off. It just Mickey Mouse outside going, bumper fry, £6 all day, all right? And just flinging a sausage fucking sign.
Yeah, that's where Tribal Burger started. Just all the barbecue. I think barbecue was
kicked off there.
Yeah, Boojum.
Boojum, yeah.
It was a big, but yeah, it's fucking, it's proper huge. Like people just don't like. Have you ever been to a water park before, or is that something you've never done?
Not overly, to be honest. It's not something.
It's a yes or no, Woodsy. Have you been to a water park, or have you not? Okay.
I have been to a water park, but it wasn't like.
And what was the experience?
It was good. Quite and wet, and and the chicken licking wasn't as good as Disney World's, but it was, the chicken was white, and that's all you can ask for, really. If it's got traces of pink, not eating it personally. That's just my opinion. If there's a bit of pink in it, I'm not eating it, to be honest with you.
Look, it's 2021. I don't really talk about colors like that, but you know, if you're just sticking to white, then that's all good for
Yeah,
you.
I'm just
The
assuming it's cooked. You know what I mean? That's my assumption that it's cooked, and you shouldn't be assuming anything. You can't assume gender. You can't assume that the meal you pay for in a restaurant is cooked to perfection. You just
cooked.
can't do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they're going to cry about next, isn't it? The old
Oh, for sure. So
the but so what was your water park experience like here? Was it abroad?
it was in Alicante. So it was.
Mm.
I think definitely somewhere. Alicante, I believe. But it was good. But it was had like the thing you swing down and you land in the water and had big slides and all. And then like it
Hmm.
reminded me of, I don't know if you ever, those big slides where they tell you have to sort of lean forward like this.
Oh yeah,
So
yep.
I love it when you see a kid go, "I no worries, not do it," and then slap their head off the bottom and start crying. That's why you go to a water park, to see that shit. Boom.
Oh yeah. Did I tell you about the time when I was at Disney World's water park and I like they have like I think it's 180-foot slide. Like it's like massive, like it's like vertical down. Great fun. So it is.
Mm.
I went to the water park at like 9 in the morning because of course I did, and there was no one else in it. And as the park had just opened, I go down the big slide once, think, oh my god, that was so much fun. I'm gonna
Mm.
go do it again. Go back up straight away again, no queue. Fucking down the slide again. Yes, do
Yeah,
you know what? I'll go up again. There's a little bit of a queue on the third time, and I'm like, oh, it's all right. I'll be up there in 2 minutes.
yeah.
I get up to the second person. There's one person in front of me. It's a young Indian girl. She's like, I want to say 9, 10, something like that.
Mm.
Goes down the slide, and then I step up to go down the slide, and the lifeguard on duty was like, just hold up a minute, man. And from that voice, you can assume whatever his race was. Okay,
Mm.
the but he said, hold up a minute, man. And I was like, okay. I was like, I thought it was just because she was still down there. So I was
Mm.
like, okay, she's probably just slow getting off the slide. Give it a minute. But 2 minutes go by. I'm like, something's not right here. Like, why is he not letting me go down this slide? About 3 or 4 minutes later, I'm like, is everything all right? He's like, yeah, we're just doing some maintenance, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, right, okay, a bit weird. Then I hear his little radio get pumped up, and it's the police saying there's a snake at the bottom of the slide. A big Floridian snake had come out of the bushes, went into the slide, and just got onto the slide. And I had heard it. And because I had heard it, I decided to be a real Northern Irish like dickhead. And I was like, mate, is there a snake on the slide? And and there's a whole queue of people behind me. And at Disney World, they want to keep things like that really quiet. Like they don't
Yeah.
want that fucking getting leaked or anything. And I'm loud mouthing like, mate, is there a big is it a big snake? And then he's like, oh, we're just taking care of it now. I was like, mate, I'm from Ireland. We drove the snakes out. Let us go down there. Come on. And all I was thinking was, I was like, if I get down there and get bit by a snake, think of the fucking Disney claim you could get for the fucking money. Like, oh, could you
Oh,
imagine? And then I started thinking, what happened to the Indian girl? Like fucking, like was it like a Disney cartoon where the snake's mouth was open at the fucking? She just went straight. There's like the outline of the young Indian girls like
yeah.
in the snake's body. But either way, they got the
Fuck.
snake away. They clear,
Yeah.
and so I took a peek down because it is really high, and you could just see the security, the police have this big snake in their hand. Someone had it by the head and
Mm.
just walked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Crazy, but
Here's
that
me.
could have been me. Like,
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, that's a lucky escape, but it's good that like the police and all managed to get it, because I just assumed naturally that the wee Indian girl just like played a flute or something and it just went away. Do you know what
or became hypnotized and works for her now.
I mean?
So,
That's mate. That's fucking like mate. That would scare me. But that's kind of like the Disney World equivalent of an Northern Irish bomb scare. You know, a snake coming in, and you just been like, "Oh, there's a snake, is there?" You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
it really is. And like in Florida, like they're obviously really well known for like alligators and crocodiles. And like
Are they?
you do, yeah, like Florida alligators big. So like even when I was walking around my hotel resort, which really nice resort and all that, like they have like little lakes and things because what happened was the land that Disney was built on was originally just miles of swamps. That's why he bought so much land because it was so
Yeah.
cheap. It was like $1 an acre, something like that. And this back in like 1950, no one wanted it. He bought all the land and he bought it under like 100 different business names that he made up because he didn't want Florida knowing that he was buying up all the land. So he created like, you know, James's barber shop, you know, Rory's farm. Like he just built all these names all these businesses didn't
Yeah.
exist, bought all the land, and then completely like got it unswamped and things. So all there's still like bits of swamp in it now, and some crocodiles and stuff. You'll see them like little small ones like flooding the water and stuff. So like you do hear of like in their signage and stuff being like, don't go near the water, don't go near the marshy land, because there have been kids and stuff that have got like proper bitten and limbs off and killed
Mm,
and crazy.
for sure. It's mad that there needs to be signs to tell
Mm.
people to avoid it. Because I remember this is like a poor example, but I remember when I worked at Oxygen and I was doing like the stewarding at it. Honestly, man, there
Yeah.
was like not a swamp, but like a big marshy fucking grass up to about here area with barbed wire around it. And they basically had signs going, please don't camp in here. As if like there was people queuing up, like even blocked, you wouldn't camp in it. Do you know what I mean? And I would like the first
Yeah.
day I had to guard it and just tell people, you can't camp in there, man. Because you might go through the fucking grass. You twat. Do you know what I mean? The amount of things you need signs for, the amount of money wasted on signs and like disclaimers on things, like the fact that there's certain things that they say, please don't put this in your mouth and eat it, and like gels and stuff like that there. The amount of
Yes.
money
Yes.
wasted because some tit was like, I'm going to eat this fucking Brill cream. Just some fucking idiot. And you're like, the amount of money wasted, that could have fucking, cured Africa. Do you know what I
And no
mean?
one knows what of, no one knows what of, but just cured it in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see like people who do the TikTok challenges, like that was the big thing. Like I think a year and a half ago was the Tide Pod challenge. You remember that one?
No, because like I'm sort of weird with TikTok and that I
In
don't
what
like
way?
being on it because I'm married, and
Right.
generally everything that's for me is
Yeah.
just like some girl wearing a dressing gown and then she clicks her fingers and then suddenly she's just wearing her coronavirus mask as a thong or some shit and she's dancing to Nelly and you're like, great, great. Now you love it, but I can't love it.
I was gonna say if it's on your For You page, then it sounds like it's for you. You know,
Yeah,
it's called that for a reason. But
yeah.
I know what do you tell me this? I was thinking about this the other day. Are you do you use a moisturizer?
I have started to use one
Mm,
of that Lisa said. I couldn't tell you the brand or anything, but
mm.
it's good shit. I could say that it's very good shit. And at our age, Aaron, it's a
Yep.
necessity. You know what I mean?
That's what I was just gonna say. Like it feels like not so much for you, because here's the thing: you kind of have more of your life together than I do. You're like married and stuff. You
Yeah,
don't
but I
even
can't light a
worry about.
video, Aaron. I can't light videos. I mean, that's if I could go back, do you know what I mean? And have the money to buy Lisa's engagement ring or buy myself like a course online on how to light videos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like I'd be sitting here beautified now. I do think it's the space, to be honest. There's not a lot of space for shit, but yeah, so I can't light videos. So you can light and edit videos to a very, very high standard. So you've
right
got your
on.
life very like I'm just plugging your business now. Aaron's videos, anything you're looking, bar mitzvahs, seance,
Oh,
driving orgies, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever you're looking, Butler will
I,
film it. Loves filming.
yeah. For the right price, I would film most things. I mean, like I've filmed out in India twice because of the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't. I'm not doing it for the passion. You know what I mean?
You
The
dangling
the,
about.
the
Do any of you know that girl who was bit by a snake in Disney World? Do you know her? Is she all right?
Rajneesh. Rajneesh. So I don't know if that's her name or how to greet people. I don't know. But either way, did I tell you when I was out in India? I was such a dickhead. Like because like Indian people are like they don't know like some of them don't know English and stuff, and like their wee greeting. I mean, look,
Some of them don't know
some
English and stuff.
Woodsy, if when I get cancelled, this is about to be the clipping that gets me cancelled. So
Yeah.
get ready for this one.
Yeah.
And just to see if Woodsy here, he's not affiliated with me. He's his own brand. Like, support him no matter what.
Yeah.
Whenever this does get me cancelled.
Yeah. Somebody else did my poster. It wasn't him. Wasn't he wasn't there when I fell. It wasn't him.
I don't even have a computer, but but yeah, so I thought I'd have a bit of fun with them because why not? I'm in a new country and stuff. So when they greet you, they don't shake hands. They do like the little prayer thing, and then they bow their heads, and they say like namaste, which that's their greeting, like namaste.
Is
But
it?
I thought, yeah. And so, but I thought what would be funny is every time they did that to me, if I just went Sinn Féin, and that's how I greeted all of them. And now I like to think there's just a little Indian village that have picked up on that, and
Yeah.
that's how they, you know what I mean? Like I've started the Ra out in India,
Yeah.
Indira.
I'm just trying to think of puns.
Yeah, they'll come to you eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Rag and Josh, the Bud,
You have to love it.
But
Mad
anyway,
Raz.
What was I? Oh, the continuity korma. But anyway, no, well, doesn't make sense. What was I saying before that?
The cushion doll. That's niche for the fans in. If you can get a DAHL doll, that's quite good. That's all right. We can...
the cushion doll. I'm not going to get better than that. No, we were talking about moisturizer.
Aye.
So yes, you're talking about you're talking because I was thinking, yeah, you're married and stuff, so you don't even really need to worry about how you look because fucking Lisa's stuck with you anyway. You know what I mean?
Aye, for sure. I mean, yeah,
girl.
yeah. Smeg is smeg, like cope.
Yeah.
Just eat around it.
But it's good. It's good. It's good that you are using moisturizer because that shows like you're looking after yourself. I feel like shows that you're not becoming complacent in your marriage, which is good.
Yeah, well, I think you just get to a certain point where everything just fucking collapses on you. Do you know what I mean? Like you remember, like your early 20s. I mean, even as someone who doesn't drink and all, your sort of partying days, you couldn't replicate that now. Do you know what I mean? Where you'd be like, I would need to book time off filming for 2 weeks to recover from this, and then even like you wake up and you just look shite. Do you know what I mean? Like the amount of work you need to put in, I almost wish like you'd started doing all that shit earlier. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I see what you mean. You have to moisturize the whole shebang, like.
Yeah, like I'm at the age now where I'm like, oh fuck, I have to put cream on my face, and then it's also like when you're in your early 20s, like if it was a summer's day, you just be like, sun cream, fuck off, that's for fucking losers, you know what I mean? And now I feel like I'm fucking Michael Jackson going outside with an umbrella, like fucking, like just like trying to preserve whatever moisture is on my fucking skin. And it's like, like you're right, whenever you've been out and stuff now, you wake up the next day and look at your face and you're like, oh. That's a rough looking face. That's not what that used to look like. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Even I'm like my skin. I'm like, why does my skin feel like it's like Droopy the dog, like that fucking cartoon? You know, that fucking I hate you, like that guy. Like fucking, like that.
Well,
but yeah.
Well, you think now post COVID, you're going to be especially vulnerable because at gigs, because the odd time like you stick around, it's going to be outdoors. Going to be people smoking, so there's passive smoking, and then. Passive drinking. I mean, at the end of the day, people are still drinking near you, so that's all enough for you to. Do you know what I mean?
Off, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like a wee bit of Smithwick's foam, and you're full.
The fumes of it. I mean, just standing next to Mickey Bartlett gets me drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was vaping before that was even a thing.
Yeah, I do. I just you're at that age now where you're like, fuck, I have to fucking. I'm starting to look older,
Is this something that you've started to implement recently? Because I meant to say at the very start when we were talking about your dinner time that even before we properly knew each other, from the few times we met, you always did, and don't ask me why, you always came across as like a routine guy. The same way like I kind of knew very quickly with Shane Todd that he's a routine guy. You know the way sometimes you just get the vibe.
Mm.
I always got that from you, but as you only recently sort of got a beauty regime that Shane's had since before he had teeth.
No, I think I've actually I've been moisturizing for like at least a good like probably since I was like 23 or something.
Mm.
But like I think now I take it more sort of seriously. I'm like buying like more expensive creams, and I'm like, maybe I have like a special eye cream and one that like is for wrinkles and blah blah blah, all the rest to it. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I was just curious about you because it doesn't seem like something you'd be into, but I feel like it's just interesting to hear your take on it.
Well, I'm not a particularly vain person to my detriment most of the
No.
time, as you'll agree. But you can't argue with the facts. Sometimes you're just like, like when you're younger, you could probably get away with going, don't need it, Jeff. But then you look at yourself and go, I do need it. Do you know what I mean? I don't have like a Patrick Bateman sort of regime or anything, but you know, I would love to be able to do a video sketch of just a Northern Irish Patrick Bateman, but it's just the most, the way he's got like really fancy shit where he's going, I use Mr. Matey when I'm in the bath and just this toenail clipper from Pound Stretcher. So I do, and brut's dead on. Like, I mean, green brut's actually for women, but I use it because I think it smells nice as well. Got the Jerry Adams fragrance. You know, and Colgate and Listerine, fucking great. I don't flask because fuck that, flask Geller. I'm not doing that bastard.
What about yeah, and he's just Dexwex, just fucking Dexwex.
Just Dax. Do you remember? Did you ever use Dax when you were a child?
Oh yeah, when I was like 12, 13, that was like my go-to.
It would break your neck. You know what I mean? Because of the fucking weight of it. Like even a wee bit, you felt like your head went like that. You know what I mean?
It
Because you
was
had the
so greasy.
oh man, like I don't
It was like
understand how.
Vaseline.
Yeah, how did it last as long as it did? That was the thing. You either had Dax, or like you had mates that had like the chemist brand gel, and it was
Yes,
it was
it
like
was like water.
yeah, it was like a KFC bucket and it glowed in the dark, and you're like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was like something they used to preserve alien babies in. It was like that's still fucking gel consistency, was it? You're like, who's making this?
Yeah, and it was just like honestly, it had the consistency of like a fucking soda stream lemonade, and you would just go to
Yeah,
like
you
a foam party and be like, who let the dogs out? You know what I mean?
you'd put it in your hand and immediately it would just melt into your hand. That's fucking. It was just like just shite stuff. But people would just put. It was like it
Yeah.
just basically wet your hair.
Yeah, it smelled as well. Same as Dax. Dax, you could smell it a mile off. Do you know what I mean? Like you couldn't hide
Oh yeah,
the
it had a
smell of
real
it.
distinct smell, didn't it? But I kind of want to smell it again now. Just have something like I feel like it was a good, not a good smell, but a distinct smell.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I remember there was the blue tin and the red tin. Now I don't know.
Yes,
Are you googling this right now as we speak?
I'm not, but
All
I
right.
remember I did use the blue tin, whatever one. I don't know what. Maybe one was like short and neat or something like that. I don't
Hmm.
know.
I think red was like wavy, windswept, some
Mm,
shit like that. Maybe.
maybe, but like it literally, looking back on it, was just Vaseline.
That's exactly what it was. It was like, no, if you had a cold, that's why anybody who had Dachshund regularly never got the cold at all. It's just
Yeah.
in the hair, like at a Catholic mass, just in there, job done.
Look, maybe we've discovered the cure for COVID. Maybe it is
Dax.
just
Dax.
shove two big wads of it up your nostrils
Oh,
and sure fucking take that, Dr. Fauci.
yeah. I mean, like, I never really wore any sort of hair gel because my hair was long, and it was just like, I don't have an hour to apply Dax to
Mm,
this bake of mine to fucking get my hair to kind of look. And I remember like when I started going to like duskers and foam parties, not and the pictures, the thing was like the new metal looks where everybody had like spiky hair and stuff like that there. So everybody was spiking their hair, but even people who couldn't do
I
it.
had that.
Did you spike your hair? Did you?
Oh, I had like the Garth Gates. I brought her gel into the mainstream in West Belfast.
Did you? Were you selling it?
I yeah. Where's I remember Christian Brothers Secondary School, obviously not the most cultured of places to go to school, and being in like second year, started putting gel in my hair, probably like 12 years old at the time, and no other, I mean this when I say it, no other kid in the school used hair gel, and dead serious, and they would bully the fuck out of me because I put gel in my hair, and they were like, "Oh fuck, look at you, big fancy boy, and all spice, blah blah blah." Right, like fucking, and then maybe like 2 years later, everyone caught up, and I was like looking around, going, "You hypocritical bastards! You fucking made my life miserable because I put gel, and now all you fuckers are doing it." I got
Yeah.
very angry.
Yeah. You were the trendsetter. I mean, the spiky hair thing, I know a fella who like spiked his hair even though like it just wasn't doable. Do you ever see those
Oh no,
people where like your hair's
was it
too
receding?
no, it was just what's the word I'm looking for? It just no matter how
Too
much
fine?
it was too fine or too wavy to an extent where it was like it went up and
Oh
then it sort of curled like a pig's tail sort of thing, and you're like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? What the fuck are you doing? No, like, do you remember the girl in Liar Liar who works with Jim Carrey and she has like the big glasses and
yeah,
she had like the fucking twiglet fucking hair,
yeah.
kind of like that, but like they kind of just curled at the bottom, so it was like here you can put your keys in that, no bother, no range, fucking eat it.
Sounds like dreadlocks.
Yeah, but here it could come back, all those fads, because everything's coming back now. So is Dax? I'm going to buy some Dax. I'm going to invest. eToro
Go for it.
Dax.
Yeah, yeah, go for it. Yeah, put that in the. I mean, people are investing in Tesla, Bitcoin. Let's
Yeah,
let's let's get some shares in DAX going.
yeah, all for sure, man. But it's yeah, I thank Christ I never got into that because anybody that you remember back in the day who did Dax and all those shite gels are like bald as fuck now. It's like
Yeah, is there a
oh
correlation?
oh like there's nothing better at our age. And I don't know. And again, even I've been in this position, so it shows the extent of it. When you see someone tagged in Facebook who you went to school with, who you haven't seen in ages, and they look like dog shit. I've
Oh,
seen a few people who make me look like Dornan, man, and I'm just like, I'm doing all right.
yeah,
You see these guys where you're like, are you shaving your head with a Gillette Mac Free? What the fuck's going on there? And then just pint face, pint face.
ah,
Oh, like beetroot, beige, blistery,
mm,
big nose. They always have a really big nose when you pint face. Even if you had a wee tiny
yeah,
one, you end up with a big.
yeah, and like there's contributing factors. I think the age one is definitely drink. The other one is smoking, poor diet, poor hydration, exposure to sunlight, and then I think another one is I don't know why I'm listing these, but I'm just thinking if you had a combination of all these, you
Yeah,
could look old as fucking probably be about 25.
yeah,
The other one is having kids. That'll put years on you. And especially if not even having one kid. Let's say you're one of these mad bastards who has like fucking 3 kids to 4 different males. You know what I mean? That's like fucking. I mean, number one, that's a miracle. Number
yeah,
two, you're like that's fucking that'll age you.
yeah. Well, it's so annoying. Like, I mean, I know some people that have kids and they just complain that they don't get like a full night's sleep and they've no time to really do anything. And I'm like, that's
Yeah,
what
Dave
you
Elliott.
signed up for. Yeah, that's what you signed up for, though. Do you know what I mean? Like Dave and all. I was
Yeah.
going to can't go during your sleep, and you're like, what did you expect, though? It's a helpless human child. What do you think? It's just going to be independent and be like, oh, well, she was born yesterday, but she's putting on a whitewash. If you've got anything in these, you know what I mean? She made a
Yeah, I
frittata.
mean,
You looking, man?
yeah, there's not exactly. Yeah, it's not a surprise whenever kids don't sleep or whenever like it's not like I can't believe I've had to dedicate my whole life to this thing and I'm really fucking you know what I mean? It's like yeah, that's what it's all about.
It's
But
not a phone contract. You know? Do you know what I mean? You
yeah,
can't opt out after 30 days. Be like, I changed my mind. Fuck's sake.
yeah, and then but this is the same people that then go, but kids are the best thing to happen to you, and you're like,
Tell your
what?
face.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't seem like it considering your fucking wrinkly eyelids, your fucking stressed out gray hair, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like everything, like it's that, and that's the other thing as well. Like I'm single, I have friends and stuff that'll go to me, be like, look, you gotta get yourself a good woman, settle
Mm.
down. You know what I mean? It'd be good for you. You know what I mean? Help you out, a partner there with you, support you, help you out. And then the next sentence they're like, she's doing my fucking accent, so she wants the fucking dinner and the washing done. And you're like, well, you're not really selling me on
Yeah.
having a fucking significant other here.
Yeah, there's so many things like that. I think there's a few factors. I feel, if you're going to marry someone that's dead on and you get on with. That's just my theory. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like you should be the Dr. Phil of Northern Ireland. You're just
Well, it's fucking infuriating. But they're just like, oh, like you like mates and stuff like that. They're like, no, say hypothetically, you were like, do you want to go to the Galgorm when, say, this September, which is how many months from now? And they're like, oh, I will see. And you're like, man, it's September and
Yeah.
it's your birthday. So I
Yeah.
assume she'll be all right with it. I can understand when you're married, you can't, particularly when you've got kids, you can't spring an hour before you're going to the
Yes.
airport. Oh, me and Butler's
Yeah.
going to fucking Disney World here. Look after the kids. We actually haven't booked a return flight, but once I do, I'll give you a shout. I understand you can't get away with that, but like
Yeah.
most of the people I know have to take a long run up to do. Like, do
Oh,
do you want to go for a coffee? Give me a second, and I'll check. And then they're offline on WhatsApp for about 40 minutes. And you're going, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? What sort of
yeah.
wife would go, nah, you're not going for coffee? And you're like, oh, what do you expect me to fucking rim someone before I get my latte? It's just a coffee. Marry
And
someone
then
who's dead on.
yeah, and then the wife goes in, well, fuck, if you're going for coffee, I'm going to be stuck in the house with these kids, two on my own, now after man. What are you going to be doing? Having a coffee if you're me? And then the guy just feels like, you know what? It's easier for me just to fucking tell my mate, nah, sorry, I can't make it, than
Yeah,
have to listen to this shite. And
yeah,
then your mate's like, yeah, we'll have a coffee in 2023. Go
yeah.
on in.
It's mad. And I think like one thing I've always felt anyway is there's like one thing that always annoys me is particularly our parents' generation, I around that sort of vibe, always had this like in this sort of set in stone thing that you had to go to university, you had to get
Yeah.
married and have kids by a certain age, the same way they did, which is rich
Mm.
coming from both my parents have been married twice, so delicious. But do you know what I mean?
A
Like
lot of
even
agreed between them.
yeah, sure. Even like people were saying, "Fuck, you and Lisa should be getting married by now," and that was after about 4 years when I had
Right.
just turned 22, and I was like,
Yeah.
"No." And it's not like Lisa was going, "Let's get married." She was like, "I don't want to get married anytime soon because we were at uni." She was like, "I want to do my
Exactly.
own thing," and so that's my main point is that if you're going to get married and have kids, don't do it because it's like the vibe that's put upon you, where you're like,
Mm.
because you will get people going, "Fuck, you reckon you put a ring in that by now?" And you're like, "Here, man." I was working in a Centra most of our relationships, so I'd rather get a nice ring than get her a tang fastic. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's like my older sister was always like, do the things you want to do and then settle down, so you don't have any
Sure.
resentment. Which must be the difficult thing if you're like of an unplanned teenage pregnancy when all your mates are in fucking having hen do's and going to festivals and stuff, and you're rearing the child. It must be hard. So I think that timing's a big thing for it. Like, but you don't have to do it. You don't have to have kids, and just because everybody
Mm.
says, and they're like, fuck, I got 3 kids now and I can't do anything. And you're like, you didn't have to. You didn't have to blow the beans in that place. You didn't have to. You didn't have to,
Well,
know.
not according to Paddy McDonald.
Oh
He
yeah.
had to.
Yeah.
There's only one place he could have done it. And that was
Boston
it.
makes him feel good. You know what I mean?
Oh fuck me.
Yeah.
Then but tell me this: if you could go back, would you do uni again?
Nope. 100%.
Fuck, see, I don't think I would either. And like, part of me has a bit of resentment towards it because sort of what you were saying there, where it's like, I almost did it just because I felt like I had to.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't, again, this comes across wild snobby, but you know, there was people in my year who in fifth year didn't stay on to do A levels and went to tech to do like a year course in something like carpentry or plumbing or something with a view to setting up their own businesses. Most of them have done it, and you see on
Mm.
Facebook that they're like homeowners, cars, kids,
Oh,
smashing it. But
yeah.
honestly, there's a vibe that was like it was almost embarrassing to be seen to go to tech at that age, where they're like, oh well, if you can't do your A levels, you're just fucking useless. You're not. It was put upon you that you had to be like well educated and go to university. So I ended up going to uni to do film studies, which I was kind of interested in, but it was only the other thing that I got into. It was only course
Mm.
because my other courses were like Edinburgh University, and I got all the
Oh
grades I
wow.
needed, but it didn't happen. But it worked out for the best. But I was like,
Yeah.
right, I'll go up and do this, and but even like the student lifestyle, you can still have that and not be at uni. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people go to Queen's going, well, sure, we can go to the bat and we can do 6 shots for 6 quid in the egg, and there's a limelight and stiff kitten and good nightlife and it's fucking class and all, but you can still do all that shit and not be a student. So yeah, I definitely, if I could go back, would not bother my fucking hole with it. Definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, because when I was doing my marketing course, I was like listening. Or I was just thinking one day because I was sitting looking around because my marketing course had like I think like over 100 people in the class, really big
Mm.
class, and I thought, right, well, there's 4 different years of the marketing course, so that's about 400 students. About half of us are going to get a 2-1, so that's 200 of us, and that's in one university.
Mm.
Then you add up the numbers from Dublin, Queens, fucking Derry, England, all of England, the universities over there, and you go, fuck, there's probably going to be about 5 to 10,000 marketing degrees
Yeah.
getting every single year.
Yeah.
So that's like, and they're all going to be fighting for the same job.
Yeah.
Like the mathematics, you're like, oh, this isn't worth shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the degree itself, and then you're like, well, and that's when you learn that experience is where it really fucking is what is the most
Oh,
valuable
for
than
sure.
anything.
And everything. I mean, like your marketing degree, I assume you probably enjoyed to an extent at the time, and I'm sure your
Nope.
essay about how to market Disney World post Indian snake attack was amazing. But in terms of marketing, I mean, like a lot of the fundamentals that you learned for that degree even applicable now because the landscape, I assume, is very different now
No.
because of social media. So, like, I assume those
Even at the
principles can't be
time,
applied.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, in one respect, there are some principles that never change, and that's what you'll call they had it called. I mean, it's going to be a wee bit boring technical, but I'll make it quick. There was like the macro and micro market environmental factors, and then there was the other one, which was PASTEL, which stood for political, environmental, sociological, technological, something else. You can tell I listened a lot. But
Yeah.
basically, if any of those factors change in the world, so say for example, political factor, which would be, let's say Boris Johnson makes vaping cigarettes illegal, well,
Mm.
that then changes the marketing environment for e-cigarettes in the UK. So that's like an example of how like there is a generic sort of marketing thing planned you can go by, but if there is a marketing person listening, they're probably thinking I'm butchering things right now, and I am. But they're like, realistically, what would have been better if they were like, right, here's like how to gain audiences on social media, here's how to utilize tools, like here's how to design graphics, even just
Mm.
fundamental things, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
stuff that you would be doing when you're out in marketing. But again, fucking education system, bunch of bullshit, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I did a degree in creative multimedia at Queens, and then I went on from that and did another degree in marketing at Jordanstown.
Yeah.
So I did uni twice, like.
Yeah. And well, I suppose like the multimedia one, obviously, but you were kind of fittering about with stuff like that anyway in terms
Oh,
of videos. So you were probably grand. You know what I mean?
let me tell you about that course. It was at Queen's University. It was on Monday, you did 9 to 3. Tuesday, you did 9 to 12. And then the rest of the week was just for free. So I was in by Tuesday at 1 o'clock was
Yeah.
my weekend. My
Yeah.
weekend was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was like reversing the week. So like
Yeah.
I would be out all the time just
Yeah.
having the best crack. Like, and not only that, it was in a course that I already knew everything I needed to know about from YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
Like this is how crazy that course was. I would have the lecture see me do, like, stand over my shoulder, watch me do video edit and stuff, and like learn from the stuff I was doing, and then like ask me questions like, oh,
Yeah.
how you doing that transition, blah blah blah. I was like, what the fuck am I paying this for? But at the same time, I was also like, well, I'm getting a grant, I don't have to work, I get to go out and party. Like
Yeah.
fucking realistically, I shouldn't have did the marketing degree. The creative multimedia one, that was the uni experience. I should have just enjoyed that, got in my system, and then moved on. And then I did
Mm.
take a year break when I did my marketing degree, and like did loads that year. Went to the Fringe that year, did a show for the full month. Worked on like a few different BBC shows, like comedy panel shows with like
Mm.
Rod Gilbert and stuff, which was class. Like auditioned for the Book of Mormon, like all these great things. And then I fucking fell into a real depression going back to do the final year because I just had this whirlwind of a year. And then
Yeah.
it's like, back to fucking such a boring university course. But then I got out of the way and it was all done.
Yeah. Well, again, that boils back to what you were saying. It's experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is your currency going forward. And in terms of particularly anything like, again, that degree that you were doing, you went in kind of knowing pretty much everything because you just fucked about with it yourself and had experience. You know what I mean? And it's the same way like the argument for a stand-up course.
Mm.
Really, you can do one and you might do all right and you might learn a few bits, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not applicable until you start doing it. And it's same like, again, I don't drive, but you don't really learn how to drive until you pass your test. Does that make sense? You learn how to pass your driving test, then you're on your own, and that's when you're like, right, I have to learn how to fucking drive properly now because there's no instructor helping you, and you're in the middle of the West Link going, well, I have to get out of this now. Do you know what I mean? That's how you, and the same with stand up, and the same with any sort of creative degrees. Now, in certain degrees, yeah, you need the theory. You can't
Oh
just
yeah,
go, I'm practicing law.
yeah. I'm a heart surgeon now.
Gives that potato peeler.
Yeah, yeah. YouTube tutorial. Do you remember? That reminds me. Do you ever remember? Did you watch that Fire Festival documentary? Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Fuck, you should watch it because you like a good documentary, don't you?
So I don't have the attention span anymore for them, but I like
Oh,
the
really?
idea. Yeah. Oh man, I can't. It makes me sleepy.
Oh, okay. Well, now what I will say about this one is it isn't like a fucking 10 part like Netflix. Like it's just It's just 1 hour and a
Yeah.
half
Well,
documentary.
yeah,
So it's
that's probably more so what I'm referencing. Yeah. Those things
yeah,
where you're
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
three
yeah.
seasons, making a
Yeah,
murderer,
I,
no need
I
for
know,
it.
I know. Fucking poor Steve. Hope you get out soon, bud. But any day now he's going to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking basically in the documentary, there's a guy who flies like a plane to the Bahamas, and they're interviewing him, and he's like fucking probably like 25, 26, and they're like, fucking, it's
Yeah.
cool that you can fly a private plane, you do lessons and stuff, and he's like from Norway or whatever. He's like, no, I just teach myself on Flight Simulator how to fly plane, and that was the first. And legit, the first time the guy flew the plane, like just flew it because he had learned on Flight Simulator on Microsoft.
Yeah.
Is that not the most batshit insane thing ever?
It's ballsy. That's very ballsy, I have to say. You know what I mean?
But
I mean,
it's a good, yeah, exactly. But I'd like point you're making. There's nothing to be, nothing is more valuable than hands-on experience. And if there's any students out there listening to this going, or is there anyone thinking about doing a degree, don't do it. Just send an email or send like 50 emails to the top agencies of wherever it is you want to work and go, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm very passionate. Happily will work for free for as long as you want me to, just so I can learn and be hands-on. Most likely because you're so passionate and because you're so enthusiastic, and if you do a good job, they'll find a place for you to keep you
100%.
on, or you know what I mean. That is way more valuable. And stand up's the same. Like you can write as much material, you can practice it in front of a mirror as much as you want. See until you get out to a club in front of an audience of people, random strangers, and say it out loud.
Yeah.
And like you learn the amount you learn from that, from just dying on your hole and fucking eating shit, is the best way to do it. Like, and like you
Yeah.
could say something, you could write a joke in front of your friends and say it in front of a group of friends and consistently get laughs. But then there's just something different about the dynamic of doing it as a stand-up bit that just changes everything, and just you can learn so much from.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's fuck, even describing it like that there makes me miss it a wee bit there.
Man,
It's
I'm getting it's getting. I don't like how it's getting so normal not do gigs. You know.
yeah, people are very much acclimatized to the lockdown lifestyle now. I was thinking about this earlier where like
Yeah.
I find like even like my mind is mush at the minute, like in terms of,
Mm,
even like doing the podcast and all, it's fine, but even like
mm,
banal things, if Lisa goes, what will we do for dinners this week? And we'll get a shopping. And I'm
yeah.
just like, you know what I mean? And what do you want to watch? I just don't
Yeah.
have it. And like I was thinking about this earlier that like this whole lockdown has like dominated my mind to the extent that, do you remember like over the weekend we got a bit of sun, which is obviously
Mm,
a rarity here. Instead of like what I would do back in the day when it's sunny here, is go, this reminds me of fucking, or this reminds me, I should go to Spain sooner. We should book a holiday or something. When the sun came in over this weekend, I just went, this reminds me of the first lockdown. Do you remember the
mm.
first lockdown? And I was like, that's the extent of my fucking memories now. Where I'm like, do you remember when this time last year it all kicked in, but the weather was lovely? And I was going, is that
Yeah.
really all I can muster in terms of a positive spin on something that's usually quite good? We were like, happy days, it's fucking warm outside. Oh, it's like the first lockdown. Mm,
Yeah, it is. Look, it's fucking shite all around the board,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, gigs will come back. We will be doing live comedy again. I
Mm,
believe there'll be a good run of outdoor gigs happening this summer at the very least.
Mm.
at the very least. And I mean, you seen when we did that Pug Uglies club that had that beautiful sort of setup and stuff.
It's
You
class,
know,
yeah.
I would be I don't know what Dave's plans are with it and things like that, but flip he would be a sucker not to run a little club there for a few weeks to
Yeah.
get the boys get, because I haven't really been writing stand up at the minute, but I know because gigs are probably going to be coming back in the summer that I'm most likely going to be starting to put pen to paper in the next few weeks for sure.
Mm.
And just getting some new stuff out there.
Yeah. I feel the same. I mean, like I have the meat of the Out of the Woods show. But
Yeah.
again, until I start doing it on stage, I don't know what needs
Mm,
extended, what needs maybe shortened down or cut entirely. Most likely cut entirely. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
But yeah, from that Boneyard gig, I mean, for anybody that follows me, like I put up a few clips that you filmed for me. So anybody that's seen that clip, that's basically where we're talking about. And I mean that
yeah.
that is some setup, and that was
Oh,
fucking that was a great gig for every act. Everybody loved it, and it was safe as fuck. And yet, when all these lockdowns came back in, all the executives seemed to shit over hospitality. And I was like, I've been pints a few times, did a few gigs, went out for dinner a good few times. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah.
I've been found it very safe and didn't feel at all nervous at all. Like I was out for dinner about 5 or 6 times when the restrictions first lifted. Then before
Yeah.
Christmas about 3 or 4 as well. And I never felt, you know what I mean, that there was nowhere being vigilant. And you think of the money that restaurants have spent, like spacing out a restaurant means you're taking
Yeah.
tables and chairs away, so you're losing custom already. Then putting in like hand sanitizing stations frequently and marking the floor without making the restaurant look like a fucking the end of ET. Do you know what I mean? So they spend all this money, and then they're just like, oh well, fuck the bars and the restaurants will have to fucking go, and you're like, they're the only ones that are actually trying to progress with any momentum, and just going, well, we're safe as fuck, and then they're going, well, you have to have a substantial meal and you're only allowed in for an hour and a half. And you're like, here, fuck up. Like, I don't care about politics, but
Mm.
fuck up. Do you know what I mean? You're like, what are you doing? Like, that's so, it's like, no, if you're like fighting with a sibling and you're like, oh, you have to let him play with a Game Boy for half an hour. You're like, okay, but I'm going to punch you in the head for the entire day of you playing it. You're like, why do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very sad, and it's also like I feel so bad for the businesses that'll not get through it. You know what I mean? The ones who just have to shut their doors and
Hmm.
whatever. Like that's probably the most heartbreaking of all of that is seeing people who have worked all their lives, like really put their passion, really worked hard, bought like properties and stuff from places, to operate their business, and then it's like, something that's completely out of their control is
Yeah.
just completely ruined. I mean, it's not fair. And look, I know a lot of people have been doing bad and things like that, but you can only hope that whenever things do lift up again, that everything just sort of normalizes and gets back to the way it was.
Yeah. Well, I think like, I assume you'll be the same sort of attitude as me, not just stand up wise, but in general, that when
Mm,
the restrictions are away, not in their entire, well, when the restrictions start to lift, and then eventually when they're away in their entirety, you'll just like put the pedal to the metal in a way and make up for lost time. Because let's
yeah.
face it, we've been sitting in the house doing fuck all for long enough where you don't really have any excuse anymore to not go out and do gigs or do anything that you were thinking about, stuff that was maybe in the pipeline, in terms of your work or, something you wanted to start doing. Now you really have no excuse because it was taken away from you for a year. It's been a year, but there a couple of days
Oh
ago.
yeah.
So there's no excuse anymore for people going, well, I'm thinking about starting up this business or something, but
Yeah.
now I'm still unsure. And you're like, man, fucking do it because you've been through a load of shite. Like, I mean, shite that nobody could have predicted, and nobody started taking it seriously. And then suddenly we were in full lockdown. Like we were doing jokes about it in pugs
Mm.
the December before that. What was that?
Oh
2019. It would have
yeah.
been the
Fuck.
Christmas after I got married. We were doing pugs and stuff and going, oh, sure, shove a lime up your hole, you'll be grand. This coronavirus, and I mean all this bullshit. And then suddenly
Ah.
we're like, oh, we can't leave the house and not even to like go for a walk and for more than like
I
20
know.
minutes. And so there's no
Do you
excuse
know?
anymore.
Yeah. Do you know what gig stands out to me most just before the whole lockdown happened was the one where me, you, and Shane did in that small room in Ballymena, uh, because like that was I think maybe mid February. So like,
I'll tell you when it was. Sorry to interrupt you. That was the night before. It was very early March because it was the night before my birthday. So we had done
Very early March. Wow.
Yeah, so it would have been the first or second of March. Let me think.
Yeah,
It
you're
was a
right.
Friday. I finished work. We went to the Galgorm, Ballymena, and then I think that
Yes.
day after was the 3rd of March was my birthday because when I got back from that Ballymena gig, Lisa had all my presents out. That's why I remember. So yeah, very start of March. So we
Oh,
were lucky to get that
that
fucking
yeah.
trip in that gig when you think about it, because 3 weeks later we were in lockdown.
Like if oh my god, like I made a Corona joke then, and we all had a wee bit of laugh about it, and then I made it like a week later, same
Mm.
joke, and no one was,
Yeah.
everyone was like, no, that's not funny anymore. And what was crazy is that wee room. I mean, it wasn't funny at the start, but anyway, that wee room was like no bigger than this room I'm in right now. Like,
Yeah.
and they had like 26 people in it. Me,
Yeah.
you, and Shane,
Yeah.
and we were like fucking shoulder to shoulder. And to think of all the close contact and stuff that hasn't been allowed to happen, like
Yeah.
the fact that that was right on the it just is
Yeah.
crazy to me to even think of, and even think about like us in the Galgorm
Mm.
sharing water with random strangers, fucking, you know, in
Yeah.
saunas with people and touching like, and
It's
like
mad.
it's fucking crazy to even think now. Like,
Yeah, I mean, to put it in the context for anybody that wouldn't know, like that room in Ballymena was so small,
oh
it didn't hold the people that was in there, dramatically oversold, and
yes,
the mic stand was unnecessary, and it was huge, and it was so cramped that you couldn't move it anywhere, so you had no choice but to stand behind it, and
yeah,
they offered table service, so
oh
nobody was heckling us, but your momentum was somewhat disrupted when somebody was like, "Can we get
yeah.
6 Jaeger bombs and a pint of Tuborg, please?" And you're like, "Chicken balls for what is it, Sheila? Sheila, aye, fuck it." You know what I mean? Like your momentum was totally ruined. And that poor girl taking the drink service, she was the real
oh
star. She deserves.
oh
If
yeah.
she was furloughed, I'll go fucking mad. She deserves, you know what I mean, to have kept full hours and promotion for the shite she was putting up with.
For the for having to serve that fucking room. There was some fucking, like, Ballymena will love you, but there was some
Yeah.
crazy fucking people in that room. Like,
Oh,
I mean, I had a nice time anyway, but yeah, there was just some fucking moonbeams.
well, it was so weird, and I've seen this not just in Ballymena, but any gig, a few gigs I've done with table service, it seems to be, so weird where the person's at a comedy gig and they're like, "Fuck, we must get some more drinks." So they're like, "Excuse me," and then the girl comes
Yeah.
over, and then it's like, "Can I get a pint this morning? A vodka and a t-shirt and everything." And you're like, "Why are you whispering now?" Do you know what I mean? So the girl's like, "What are you looking? Sorry," and then they drag it out. What do you have on draft?
Oh fuck! I hate that. Yeah, like yeah. Yeah. What have you got? Is that in tins? What do you have in
That'd be.
tins?
Mm,
What vodkas have you got? List them from alphabetical order.
have you any of the clear vodka?
Jerry Adams vodka.
Blow me up. Have you any blow me up vodka?
Have you any vodka?
Have you any denial vodka? Have you? Oh, and then, like, I'm pretty sure at one point during that gig, and I think it might have been when I was on, either they started taking card payments or
Oh,
the card machine broke in the middle. There was definitely some
yeah.
rigmarole. So obviously, in terms of people going, "What do you have on tap? Would you do any? Would you be doing any like cocktails or something?" Which in Ballymena is just smell like some lime, basically. Let's face it. And then it'd be like, "I'll pay," and then they were like, "Well, sure. Why don't we do like part card, part cash?" And you're just like,
Oh, fuck.
"I'm just trying." I hadn't even opened. You know what I mean? We were just trying to go. It's
Oh,
nice to be here, yeah. And you couldn't move because I say it was so cramped, and the mic was up to about here, and it was wrapped around the fucking thing, and you're just like, "Why am I here? Why am I
yeah.
here?"
You had to do stand up like a statue because you
Oh
had
yeah,
limited movement. There was just no physical comedy happening at all.
yeah,
The
fucking weird, man.
but even though we're taking the piss out of it, you'd love to just do it tomorrow,
Oh, for
just if it
sure.
was on, just cause fuck, there's been fuck all else happening.
Oh, for sure, man. Like any sort of gig is fine now. Instead of us having to stay in the house for much longer, scrolling through Netflix, they end up watching a documentary about an Indian girl who was killed by a snake at Disneyworld. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to watch that true crime fucking documentary, man. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'd be in that, Finding Rajneesh, they call it.
Yeah. You'd be subtitled and all. She'd be, the Indian girl would be fine. She'd be perfectly legible, and then just put subtitle. You'd be dubbed. You'd be dubbed by
Dubbed.
fucking. You'd be dubbed by fucking someone who was in the Vampire Diaries. The guy in the wheelchair from Glee is playing Aaron Butler.
Oh,
Even he's
are
not,
they?
he's not in the wheelchair in real life, so it's fine.
He's not. What was that about? They couldn't do that anymore.
No, definitely not. No, definitely not.
No, not the other. Did you ever watch Glee?
Mm.
Big fan or just like casually?
Wasn't a Gleek, but I was I was first couple of seasons. I was like, this is I like a good tune. Do you know what I mean? I like a nice poppy rendition of stuff. Do you know what I mean? I am a fan. And then sure, your guy from in Hamilton, he was in Glee, wasn't he? King George, that guy, Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan Groff.
Yeah, wasn't he in Glee? He was.
He was.
Yeah, he was called. He played Jesse.
Adrenaline. Yeah, Vocal Adrenaline.
His character was called Jesse, which was clearly the writer's way of going. If we call him Jesse, and he's part of a love triangle, we could do Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield.
Girl.
Yeah, you know I wish I had. Do you know what I mean? Just all
Jesse's bird. Yeah. And then Finn died.
Finn died, and then a couple got arrested. Your bird died. Your Naya, she died, didn't she?
Yeah. Well,
kiss of death. That show. Whether it's your career or your life.
Yeah, if you're on that show, I'm sure you're just shiting yourself every time you go to sleep now. It's like Final Destination.
Yeah, deleting tweets like a motherfucker.
But oh man, I remember it was such a big thing that I ended up joining like a fucking like a GLEE tribute group in Northern Ireland, like doing gigs and stuff around the place. I know, oh man, so sad and so cringe. But
what were you called? What was the name of the trip? Was it just GLEE tribute act? GTA?
No, it was called Gleeks, I think. GTA.
Dawson's Gleek. There you go.
But yeah, so I mean, not one of my proudest moments, but you know, it was fine.
So what did you can't just leave it there. You have to elaborate. So did you have outfits, and did you do Don't Stop Believing and all that jazz?
Yep, did that, did Sweet Caroline, did we would go around like hotels in Ireland and stuff, just doing fucking all these random gigs to like 6 people. It was an experience.
Yeah, so don't do it agree. That's basically the point.
Yeah, I mean,
why do it agree?
For not doing it agree when you can be in a GLEE tribute act.
Yeah,
a GTA. We did what was it? A Proud Mary. Did Proud Mary?
Mm-hmm.
It's just all the classic GLEE tunes.
Rolling on the fags. I mean, that'd be class.
Yeah, but
fucking hell, man, that's mad. What a way to end it. That you were in. I've known you for some time, and I did like. I'm not surprised, but I didn't know that about you, that you were in a. Like, so did you have to play? Were you just like a group of people singing songs that were featured in GLEE, or did you have to be? Were you like the Finn of? Did you have to like dress? Did you have to put on glasses in a wheelchair or anything?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was just, and they didn't even want that. They didn't want that, but I said no. I insist. I insist that I do it. Yeah. Oh man, I tell you what, I'll give you a fucking. This is so embarrassing. This is when I was like 22 or whatever, still in uni, just like fucking about or whatever. Like, just was like, yeah, I'll join it. No biggie. Like I ended up joining all sorts of stupid shit just cause like I wanted something to do or meet people or whatever. Like I was part of like the Queen's dance team and stuff. So
ISIS.
I was like the only guy in the Queen's dance team. It was ridiculous. So I fucking from that then was in like the weekly fucking club, whatever, and we were doing a gig in a place that didn't have live sound. So they were like, we don't have live sound, but we have and this is just bizarre to me, we're able to play a track, so if you can mime, just mime. And I was like, fuck, I don't want mime. That's like gay or fucking what else?
That's gay.
That's
the gay.
Yeah. Not the fact that I'm up there singing Proud Mary in a bow tie, but
wearing a sarong.
It was so wrong. So we're fucking singing for this live audience who are having like fucking dinner or whatever. It's like one of those dinner events, and they're fucking doing the whole fucking Proud Mary bit or whatever. All the audio track cut out, and we're all miming, and fucking, and like in the middle of track cutting, I was like, "Ah, shit!" And we all just started live singing with no backing track, but the audience were clearly like, "Oh, you've been miming this whole time," and now the whole thing, and we still had to finish the gig because we had to still get paid. It was the most it's
Oh,
so fucking bad. Like we did like the Newton Christmas lights switch on. Fucking my tie, the fucking shit I've done that's just stupid.
oh my God. What a way to fucking finish it. Thanks very much, as
Yeah.
always, for coming back on. That's a fucking tremendous fucking finale. I love that.
Oh,
Um,
oh, no problem.
have you anything to plug before we go? Or just follow you on the Insta for any live show dates when they become a thing?
Just Aaron Butler online on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the rest of it. I'm currently remaining quite quiet at the minute on social media purposely, just because it's like I kind of met that spot at this spot where I'm like, you don't need to be posting all the time. You know what?
Yeah,
I know they say
definitely.
you do because it's like, oh, you need to get followers, numbers, blah blah blah. But then there's a real conflict with that when it comes to like comedy and actually stuff that you want to put up, because it's like, well, what if you just don't feel like posting? You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
what if you just don't want to be funny for a few days and
yeah,
just, want to do your own thing? So I'm kind of like at that point where I'm like, I don't care about the views, the followers, the whatever else. I just want
yeah.
to post things for my own enjoyment, my own entertainment, and just because I feel like it and makes me happy. So when I post, and it'll be good when it happens. But don't be expecting anything. But I appreciate whenever people do reach out and enjoy the stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So
Happy
yeah,
day.
nothing to plug coming up. But when the gigs happen again, I'm sure me and you'll be back out there living the dream.
Doing rightly in Ballymena. Just,
In a little room catching
yeah.
COVID. We probably spread it that night.
We probably did rightly, but you know what? It was worth it. Just, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
It had
patient
been,
zero. Me and Woodsy.
oh, for sure. The Galgorm 3, fuck's sake. It was great.
Calgorm 3. We went and fucking sat in a soupy bowl of hot water and then got into a room full of 20 people squashed together who
Yeah.
already had very fucking questionable brain cells. And
Yeah.
then we give them all COVID.
Yeah. Me and Shane drank from the same carafe. I mean, that's fucking,
No.
we were asking for trouble there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me,
Yeah.
big
No
guy.
worries, man. Cheers. Thanks very much. Take it easy.